All right, guys, we are here with George from a studio in SanDiego. Anyway, George, introduce yourself, mate.
Yeah, I'm George. I'm out here in SanDiego. We opened up F45 PQ, and we are loving it.
Okay, great. So, mate, let me go right back to the start. What sort of prompted you to reach out in the first place, George? This was last September.
Yeah, me and Nate, we run businesses, so we've run a few, so we understand that a huge part of running a business is the sales and marketing.
Yeah.
And just doing things a little differently, not always doing things like everyone else is doing it, and just wanting, basically the sales and marketing part.
Yeah, like what sort of concerns did you have? Because we started with you before you even opened, right? I think you were our first that we sort of worked with pre-open.
Yeah.
What were your biggest concerns? What were your biggest emotions like leading into the opening of your studio?
Yeah, a couple things. One is opening the studio and having a huge bill, huge expenses to have to cover. So really wanted to make sure we got a ton of members into the studio. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Another thing, to be super frank and honest, was just, can this Australian guy, can we do the same processes and marketing and sales and scripting, that's working for you guys all in Australia. Can we do that here in the US?
Great.
Those are two big things.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Before starting.
Okay. So then what sort of convinced you? Like, what got you around those objections?
I think just talking with you.
Yeah.
Just having the conversations with you, just feeling comfortable, and just knowing that we could trust you. That was huge to get the ball rolling. But that was still, even when we started, that was still a hesitation.
Yeah, totally. So then we started. So talk to us about some of the results that you've seen so far.
Yeah. Just tons of leads, more than we can handle at first. And then we realized we really needed to work on our sales process and scripting.
Yeah.
So, we got tons of people coming through the doors. We saw that the script worked.
Yeah. And so, member numbers wise, when you guys first opened, you obviously had zero, like you guys started from scratch.
Exactly.
So you've gone from zero to...
Exactly. So when we started, we, like a lot of other people that are starting studios, running projections and how many members you think you'll have by certain months and years. So we thought within 12 months, we would love to have 200 members. That was a big goal for us.
Yeah.
And basically within 3 to 4 months, we had 200 members. It's huge.
Boom.
It's huge. Yeah.
And how does that make you guys feel?
Secure, like amazing, just knowing that we could either turn up, turn down the cost of leads, that as long as on our side, we could handle the calls, the texts, the leads, and taking care of them. That's the biggest thing. It's not whether Doza can deliver. it's whether
you can handle it.
Us on our sides, we can be ready
Good point.
Do the follow-up, to make the calls, do the texts, and follow up with all these leads.
Yeah, it's a really good point, man.
Yeah.
And so what do you think, like, what are the different elements of this program that you think sort of helped you the most along the way?
I think sales process and scripting, is huge.
It is huge.
Because if you can get really good at that, then you're applying that with walk-ins, you're applying that daily with phone conversations, incoming calls, referrals,
rollovers.
You know, just this, just the simple thing that you always talk about is just getting to their deep why, you know.
Exactly.
So just not you doing all the talking, but you doing the majority of the questions and the listening.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's awesome. I mean, not to discredit from you, like, you guys had to still do all the work. It was still you guys that did all the work. But you are right. It's the studio needs to be ready and willing to be able to put in the work and be able to put in the effort. And it's consistent, isn't it? It's not just one good week. It's putting on multiple good weeks in front of each other.
Oh, exactly.
So, like, you know, what would you say to the studios out there that sort of find themselves, because like the normal kind of studio stories, they get to a point where it's sort of like they find 5 members, they lose 4 members, they find 3 members, they lose 5 members, and they just seem to sort of get stuck at, you know, 70 or 100 or 110, and they just can't seem to kind of break through. All those studios that are still doing free trials and things like that. Like, what would you say to those studios that were kind of stuck in the same position as you guys were, a bit concerned, not secure, not growing fast enough? Like, what would you say to those guys in those positions that might need some help?
Yeah. I mean, again, I think kind of like what you tell us all the time is focusing on that net number.
Yeah.
So for us, it's focusing on the +2 every day. So making sure we have more, you know, sales than we do cancellations. And I mean, making sure that whoever's on the phones, your studio manager, your membership manager, whoever it is, your head trainer, focusing on that number. That number, you know, is just being top of mind for the leadership is just really, really key.
Yeah. No, that's true, man. And for those of you playing at home, every single week we look at George's number. We look at everyone's number in their studios, and we track everyone's metrics across the 5 kind of key pressure points of these studios. And underneath each of those pressure points, there's a metric, and there's processes underneath each of those that are meant to drive that KPI forward. And so when we track that every single week, we can see where the sort of leak is. And like George said, we could identify that leads weren't the problem. There was some sales follow-up stuff happening, and I'm seeing these guys in a few days' time to in person to help fix some of that stuff. But once they get into the studio, these guys do really well, and kind of converts them at the back end somewhere between 60 to 80%, depending on how switched on those guys are that week. But just so George, how are you feeling now about your business? What's next steps? What's your next big target that we're going to work towards? Talk to me about that.
Sure. So we feel good about our business. We want to keep doing exactly what you say we need to do, is know our numbers. And we thought we kind of knew our numbers when you asked us, you know, a while back, and it was around rollovers. And when we actually, you know, you were saying 80%, 80%. And when we actually looked at it, it was pretty crazy. I think we were the lowest that you ever had. Like
you guys were at 14 or something, 14 or 17. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was horrible. But now we gave our membership manager, basically, we said 80%. This is your target. And when they know that they need to give me that number every Sunday night, then they're working that much harder to make sure they get
that's right.
those rollovers. We may not get. We're definitely, you know, that will definitely make sure we're not at 15%, 20%, 30%, 40%. I mean, it just keeping either myself or other people accountable for different numbers is huge, and just being consistent with that.
And the difference between a 20% and an 80%, like if that's a 10-person wave, right?
Yeah.
That could be 6 extra people that you guys signed up, 6 extra people, you know, and if each of those people will give you $3,000 over the lifetime that they're with you per year, so that's hundreds of thousands of dollars that you guys have generated extra on, and almost with no extra effort, right? It's the same amount of effort, but just knowing how to have those conversations, having the processes in place that's been proven to work in other studios. That's awesome, man.
Like, people are always worried about bringing in more leads, but it's actually a lot of just tweaking different things, being a little more focused on either the sales process, being a little more focused on the rollovers and member experience, and really you taught us looking at which number and knowing what to then focus on.
Yeah, I love it. That's awesome, man. All right. So what's the next target for you guys? Now, I think at the moment you're somewhere between 230 and 260. You go up and down a little bit. What's the next target? Do we want to go above 300?
Yeah, 300. To get over 300. That's our goal. Definitely.
Perfect. All right. We're going to do this.
Yeah, we are.
Thanks, buddy. I'll see you in a couple of days.
All right. See you later. Bye, Dozer.